Let's get some things going. Alright, so this is gonna be just a little short, quick video, just so I can just get this out there or whatever. Pokemon Go is making their remote raid passes basically pretty bad for everybody. Like, to get 3 of them, it's gonna be, I think, $5.25 for 3 remote raid passes. You're going to be capped at only being able to do 5 a day. So that's not going to, so that's got a lot of people upset. All the changes to all this is all going to be April 6th at 11 a.m. So normally whenever any type of raid event happens at 11. So for 3 of them, it's going to be $5.25 for 3 remote raid passes. So they're basically raising it up 225 Pokecoins just for you to be able to get 3. If you go to just buy 1, it's 191. So it's basically almost double its original price as it is right now, which is, that's super smart for Niantic. GG's, like. And then this part, we'll only be able to do 5 a day. So if you try to plan on doing a lot of raids in a day, you'll have to do majority of them in person. Because if not, you'll be capped at only 5 for for remote raids and all that. There will supposedly be remote raid passes given in throughout research breakthroughs, which we've seen that before, and it wasn't all that great or whatever. Because if you miss one of your days or whatever, then it's even longer and all that. You still can only hold up to 3. So if you do your research breakthrough box, you have your 3 and you're already in your. Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely like RIP to the game. But yeah, so if you have 3 already, and then you claim your research breakthrough box, it'll. I believe from what I heard, it'll turn into just a regular raid pass instead of a remote raid pass. So be sure you check that before you claim your research breakthroughs, so then you're not missing out on a remote raid pass and all that. Supposedly, we're gonna have higher XL candy chances if you do the raids in person. Which now, even now, when you do in-person raids, I don't see a whole lot of people getting that many XL candies, even for the raids. So is this going to be like a higher chance at getting them, or are we going to actually be getting an XL candy for doing the raids in person? It's kind of hard to tell with them. Since 2020, yeah, they've. It's because everybody has been able to do the raids. That's why it dominated the game, because people who couldn't do them can now do them. Say you're in a place you have no raids, you have nothing around you, then it's pointless whatever to try to play, because if you can't do a raid over from wherever you want to or need to or whatever, then it's just well, then why even try to do them? So yeah, remote raid passes were amazing for the game, because then it allowed people to be able to actually go and do things. If they wanted to go out and enjoy life, and then one of their friends or whatever was like, "Hey, I personally think they want the players to host more instead of join others, but it will have a backwards effect because less people will play." I mean, yeah, that's what I see happening, is a lot of people spoofing nowadays, or from the 6th forward. I just see people just gonna be spoofing and all that. Which, like, here in a second, like after I'm done like going through whatever's left, like I'll actually go through like with my thoughts and everything. I'm just trying to just get this out. So then, for anybody, whatever, that watches my stuff or whatever, they can at least know. Because not everybody, whatever, uses Twitter to know. Oh well, hey, like the remote raid passes come up, and not a lot of people will actually come to the sites whenever they give it to us to be like, hey, this is what's happening. A lot of people are just like, I don't care about this. Get it off my screen, and then they just continue the game. But I think I might have already, because like they say that they still plan on keeping remote raid pass as a part of the game. As they're just gonna limit it to where you're only allowed like 5 a day. Yeah, so yeah, the limit's gonna stay the same of only being able to have three in your thing. So they ain't upping that at all, which that's pointless. Like, if you're gonna limit us to only 5 a day, why not make it be that we can hold five of them instead of still capping us at three? Like, that's still kind of that's still not much sense. Uh, but yeah, like I think after I I think like from here forward, I believe that like majority everybody's just gonna spoof and everything. I just wonder what they'll do with raid hours, because those will, yeah, they really will. Those really will suck. Like, because I mean, like with the majority of people, like since they gave remote raid passes, like there's been so many people that have just went and they went to a raid for raid hour to start, and they just went, like, they would go down a line of raids, and they would invite everybody they could. Now it's, if that person wants to go do raids, they have to find like anywhere between like 10 to like 20 people to be able to do the raids now. When in reality, or not reality, but like before the 6th, like everybody could just do whatever raids they want without having to worry about the cap. Like, because normally, like if you're gonna do raid hour and you have a good spot for raid hour, you can get in like, I don't know, like 10 to 15 raids quick. Like if you just grind through them. But now it's gonna be like you maybe be able to get through, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6, because you have to depend on everybody in the real world to be there, instead of being able just to get anybody to bring them to you. Uh, this only is good for large cities to encourage you to come out together. So, well, I mean, some of the big cities, I can see like a lot of people just going and running. Some big cities, whatever, I don't know about, because like where I live, like whenever I would go down like downtown to where everything is, like you maybe find like 3 or 4 people trying to do raids, and that's not people that are spoofing, that are that aren't remoting or whatever. They're doing the raid in person. So with them 3 people, like they could get a whole lobby of people. But now it's like, oh well, because or even like for rural players are like they're basically out of luck, unless they want to just be capped to the 5 a day, which I don't really see why people would ever want to just be capped on anything. Uh, Twitter is on fire today. Or well, yeah, with all this, like, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already seen. There's plenty of other videos and everything already out and everywhere. Uh, yeah, but Oh yeah, it. I mean, yeah, I know it's always on fire. It's just really on fire today. Like I literally like I'd say maybe like 2 hours ago, I was on there for a couple of minutes, and it was just like, it was all right. Like there was a couple things that I was interested in, but it had to do with something completely different than Pokemon Go. And then like I took me a minute away from like the internet and everything, and then I come back, and it's just like outrage. And I'm just like, whoa, what? Like what's going on right now? It's just like all kinds of videos out there of just all kinds of things because of it. Like, you have your regular YouTubers or whatever that are always kissing Niantic's ass. Like, like they try to make it seem like, oh well, the game's not gonna die as bad, blah 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 blah. But yet like these selected YouTubers that are at the top. They're like, no, this isn't how it should be. Like, like we actually need to come together as a community and be like, hey, what the fuck, the kind of thing. But I don't, I like, I'm still kind of like speechless on all this, like, because like I knew that it was gonna happen. Well, I mean, we all kind of knew it was gonna happen, but because where they leaked it, like right after the Hoenn tour thing, and they were just like, oh no, that's nothing. Like they were basically like, no, that's nothing or whatever. That's nothing to worry about, bloody bloody. And then here we are, like what, like a month later, and they're like, just kidding, we were being serious. Uh, but yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna go into my thoughts about this, whatever. Uh, I do believe that we need another Heroes Niantic, but 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna affect anything this time. Like they're stuck on what they want to do going forward, and it's showing that they don't care about the players even more. Like I've tried, I tried telling people like a few months ago, it's like, hey, y'all better be ready or whatever. There's about to be a bunch of a bunch of shit that's gonna happen, and it's all gonna blow up pretty bad. And nobody wanted to listen about it, so I was just like, well, all right, I give up trying to tell everybody. So I was just like, I just sat back and was just like, let's just watch them burn their own stuff down. Uh, if they don't decide, or I mean, well, they've already decided, but if they decide to change their mind and they do keep the remote raid passes the same way, that would be amazing. Like, because because we shouldn't have to be capped on doing raids, no matter whether it's because they don't have enough data for the world, or they just think that it's going to help the game more. It's not. It's gonna kill the game a little bit, just a little bit at a time. And like even if like people in the future start playing the game, and they never realize like the amazingness of having remote raids and being able to do raids whenever, like I'm gonna attempt to like keep the future people like in the know of what has happened in the past and all that if I can. You know, I believe that we as a community should either decide to boycott the game until they decide to start listening to us, or the community should just quit playing the game altogether for a bit and see if Niantic decides to change anything. I mean, that's basically the same thing, but if we boycott it, that's like only a small percentage of people are going to be like, "Oh, this is a good idea," blah 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 blah. But if we actually just stop playing the game, like outside of worrying about a boycott, or we play the game at least the least amount that we can, maybe they'll start seeing, maybe we shouldn't be limiting, and maybe we should just let everything just go, or give people the incentive to not want to worry about remote raids. Like just just being like just being like, we're gonna cap it. That's not really the best of reasons to be like, go out and raid. Like they should like show the whole community, like what they actually want from us, instead of just being like, well, here you go, and then just walking away from it, like it's not even like anything to worry about. Like they act like we as a community don't care about the game enough, to go out and give them this supposed data that they're looking for. So like we should be able to like, or they should be able to come into like and some sort of like middle ground with us, so then we can still want to play the game, still want to spend money on the game, all that. But if they just keep just doing what they want, and then and not taking any kind of feedback from it anywhere, then eventually like the game's gonna be like so down and broken that nobody's gonna want to do anything with it anyway. Like it's already broken with the bugs, the lag, all that. But them doing this is just gonna make it worse. Like people are gonna start spending less money, which is gonna make the game not be able to be worked on, enough or at all, which it's not really being worked on at all anyway. Because a lot of people, whatever you go and see, they play PvP. There's so much lag in PvP. There's charge moves being thrown when they shouldn't be being thrown. Energy's not being calculated right sometimes. Like if for a company that's supposedly $1 million company or $1 billion company, they're more worried about stealing everybody's data and then selling it to all these other companies over being like, well, maybe we should take this money and all this data we have and put it back into the game, so then more people want to come to play the game. But instead, they're doing the exact opposite, and they're just pushing buttons somewhere at their headquarters and being like, "Oh, that should be good," and then walking away from it. Like at this point, like a lot of people, I do believe they're just gonna be done with the game. Like I've seen so many different things, like scrolling through Twitter and talking it to like other people, and they, to be honest, Pokemon has never been great to its. I see. I never played the Gen 4 remakes. Like the last actual game I played like outside of Pokemon Go that was Pokemon was Emerald version. So it was like I had played all three of the Kanto ones. I played two of the Johto ones, I think, because I played Gold and Crystal, and then I played Sapphire and Emerald, and then I just kind of fell off of, like Pokemon, and then I ended up like getting into Yu-Gi-Oh and everything, and I kind of dropped everything for Yu-Gi-Oh and started playing that. And then 2016 came, and Pokemon Go came out, and I was like, hey, this might be fun, So like from, I think it was like 2006 ish. Hold on, let me look. I don't remember when Emerald and all that came out. 2004. Okay, so I'd say probably 2005. I quit Pokemon, and I jumped into Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's what I stayed around for until 2016. And then uh yeah, and then like I didn't really play. It didn't really have the because the the original Gen 4 games was on the DS, wasn't it? Or was it on a different console? Because anything from the like Gen 4 era all the way up, like yeah, all the way up until Gen 8. I played like a little bit of Gen 8 on a friend's Switch a couple years ago, and then I played Scarlet here. Yeah, so yeah, it was. So yeah, I never gotten a DS, so I just kind of just stopped the games and was like, well, I'm just gonna move on, like find something else to do. So, but yeah, so like after Emerald, I was just kind of just out of Pokemon, and then I mean, like I've heard of all the controversy stuff about the Gen 4 remakes and like how bad they were or whatever, but I never like witnessed it myself for the games and all that. But like with the Pokemon Company, I kind of stopped really playing their games like around like 2005 ish because like they did some kind of craziness. I don't. That was like that was so long ago that I don't even remember like why. Like I just I sat it down and I was like I'm done with Pokemon for now. Uh, but yeah, like I don't know what I was going with for that one. But anybody on YouTube, because this will be on YouTube here like shortly-ish. Let me know what y'all think, how y'all are feeling or whatever about this. And down in the comments and all that. Uh, Going forward, I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot of more Pokemon Go content. Like I might do some here and there. Raids or whatever are just gonna just completely be done because it's kind of pointless to try to do raids and invite people to raids, and you're only allowed to do 5. I mean, I know it does still doesn't start for like another what like 7-ish days. The Gen 4 remakes were asked by fans in 2018 because they made Gen 1 remakes in 2000. Gen 2 remakes in 2009, Gen 3 remakes 2014, until 2021, and it was even oh yeah, I heard all kinds of stuff about it. I just never really like got into it to like I never watched enough videos to get like to like be like oh well like this is what I know about it da 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 like I know that the Gen 4 remakes were kind of bad like for like specific graphics and things and like the story of it or whatever wasn't all the greatest. I think that's what they were saying, but like I never like got into like all the videos to be like, oh well this is what was wrong and all that. Uh, my brain has went blank. Uh, I literally have a Game Boy Advance with Emerald, Crystal, Sapphire, Gold, Blue, and that's awesome. I miss playing those ones. Like those ones were pretty fun to play. Like I liked Saph or Crystal the best because it actually had like a storyline thing to go with Suicune and all that kind of like like you made it to like certain parts and Suicune. I think you made it to the burned tower and it like he kind of like jumped around you for a minute and then you also got to see him again at is it the Ecruteak Island or the Ecruteak Gym? It's like all the way off by itself. I know you have to go to like Olivine and you have to surf all the way over. I like that. That was pretty dope for it. Uh, my brain. Controversial opinion, but I think it is a good idea. What do you think? So what does it say? We plan to keep remote raid passes as a part of Pokemon Go. However, we believe this change is necessary for the long-term health of the game, and we do not make it lightly. That didn't make sense to my brain. For the long-term health of the game, and we do not make it lightly. We feel this is a necessary step toward our goal of preserving and improving the unique experience of playing Pokemon Go, a game we hope you continue to enjoy long into the future. I don't think a whole lot of people are going to be enjoying it too much. Like, I get that they want like they want the game to be about everybody going out, but I'd say like a good 30ish, maybe 40ish% of Pogo players, they can't just go out, and play, like either because of a disability, because they have to work, because they have kids, like there's something that stops at least a good 30 to 40% of players from being able to do anything, and be able to go out and do the raids, like you were saying earlier, like well, I don't know if you were really saying it earlier, but like the raids and stuff, like for big cities, it's gonna, like, if you're not in the middle of a big city, then it's just gonna become pointless to try to do 5 stars or 4 stars, megas. Oh, there ain't no 4 stars. There used to be 4 stars back whenever the game was like way better than it is now. I mean, like minus the raid passes. Like the game's kind of really like the game has come a long way from 2016 to now. But with how Niantic is running it, like back in like 2016 to 2019, some of the events were a bit better than a lot of the events from 2020 till now. Like, I mean, yeah, there were some decent ones. That all the tours were good. I personally think it would have been better if they just increased the price so people noticed that if they increased the price so people noticed that they just, yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I don't know. Like, I think the fact of them raising the prices, I don't think that they should have raised them like basically like 225 over, or if they are or like if they were gonna raise it, they could have at least added, like another raid pass to it, you know, or even make it to where, like if they were smart about it, they would have just raised it 100, to see how the community would feel like would react to it, and then if they didn't react to it well, just keep it at the 300, like, and then also at the same time of keeping the remote raid passes at 300, make a bundle of uh I don't know what they're called, the green passes, just the regular raid passes. Like they could put that into a bundle and have it be at 250, because then it would make people be like, okay, do I want to spend 300 for 3 remote raid passes, or do I want to spend 250 and save 50 coins and buy 3 regular passes? Then I don't think the community would be so like much of an uproar, and all that. But I mean, I'd say they probably still would be either way. But they could have at least made it a little. I guess they, instead of like doing it the way they did, they could have been like, hey, we're sorry to tell you guys, like, but we want more people to go and do raids outside instead of just slapping it on us and being like, well, this is what's happening. Like they could have at least just been like, hey, I mean, they kind of have, but they haven't communicated it well enough for those who are just going to cry and whine about it, to understand. They could have took how they did it and made it be a like more understandable to people, so then they're not like tripping out like they are and all that. But I mean, they're like if they if they really wanted to disencourage people like from buying them, I don't think that the idea of making it go up another 225 was the right choice. Like if they wanted people to do like to go out and raid more, they should just make the regular passes maybe like 50 coins cheaper. Well, I mean that's what they're already doing. They're going to make it 50 coins cheaper. But they should give more of an incentive to go and out and raid instead of just XL rare candies, supposedly more damage done. Like that's like they should be like, hey, if you go out and raid in person, then you can get more of these types of items. Like if you go and do in person raids, you can get, I don't know, like 5 coins or whatever. Something else, give them something for actually going to the raid instead of just like XL candies. Because there's some people who aren't even level 31 to get XL candies. So if they go into a raid in person, they're just right off the bat missing out on XL candies. Like because I don't think that you can get XL candies unless you are level 31 and above, like from raids and all that. But if you can, I mean, I guess that's why they're trying to do it. But it's still, I don't know. It's just it still just seems kind of like they just don't care about like a good portion of their players, and it's just showing more and more as the game like continues to proceed forward, and it's just not it's just not what the community wants to hear, to see, and all that stuff. Like it's just because it's disheartening to a lot of people because they're like, oh well, like I just started playing the game, like in the last 2-ish 3-ish years, and now they're all upset because it's like, well, what's the point of trying to do raids and stuff still because of the fact of that they're going to be taking them from us. Well, how many we can do from us, and then it's gonna cost more to even do them. So I think that majority of the hate and everything is coming from a lot of the newer players, because a lot of the older players have already quit playing the game as of now. There's been like a good portion of like people that started the game in 2016. They just don't play anymore, and it's kind of sad to see that the game used to be like thriving. Like it would get like new players like every day, like and all that. But then as like for over the last 3 years, it's just like they're pushing players away more and more instead of actually trying to like bring everybody together to stay happy. I mean, I guess there's gonna be a good portion of people that aren't ever happy with how Niantic runs the game, but the people that are happy with how the game is, and rating and all that, like that's what they should think to do going forward instead of just how they like however they want to do it. Like I don't know. There's just so much that that people just don't, or not people don't. It's just a lot that Niantic it doesn't think of in the process of doing all of this. Is more or less of like what I'm trying to say. Like they think that if they do what they want, how they want, there should be no backlash. Which I mean, I could see, because they're $1 billion company or whatever. They think, oh well, we're so high up, whatever, that nobody could knock us down. But if that $1 billion company or whatever gets, even if they're a $10 billion company and they get cut down to 5 billion, that's a big cut, for them to lose. So it's kind of like, like, how do they go forward with it? And if people or whatever are just going to keep dropping off, that $1 billion company is going to end up becoming, $1 million company, and then $1,000 company, and it's just going to keep dropping if so many people stop playing the game altogether. Like, it's just going to become like just a big mess of just, are you a legit player or are you a spoofer? That's basically what it's going to come down to. Like, because a lot of these people that live out in the middle of nowhere, or they just don't have enough people around to do raids, there's only one thing that they're gonna think of, and it's gonna be like, well, how do I get raids? I go to a place where there's hundreds of people that are doing the raids. But how do they get there? If they can't fly, if they can't spend money to get there, they're gonna spoof. So it's basically gonna be like, it's basically going to go back to how it used to be before COVID ever hit. It's going to go back to legit players and spoofers. And there ain't going to be, like, the remote raid people will be here and there. Like, they'll be dotted around here and there. But in the very end, it's going to be the exact same way that it was before COVID ever hit. It's going to be, like, it's going to be a big ass fight between people that are playing legit and people that are spoofing, because nobody's going to want to spend a shit ton of money on 3 remote raid passes and then be capped to only do it. I don't see the game progressing as well as it would if it kept the remote raid passes the way it is in the future. Like, I see it, like I see, like, right now, like, if Niantic was at a full 10 out of 10, with remote raid passes, how they're running the game, I'd say by, like, I don't know, it's 6 months from now, I guess I'd say that 10 out of 10 would probably get dropped down to like a 7, maybe even a 6, just because nobody's happy with the game anymore. And then I'll have a year, like, I'd say by a year from now, if they keep the remote raid passes the same way they are, they're going to have maybe 40% of the players that they had with remote raid passes. Because, I mean, like, I already know people are dropping off as the game keeps going. But I think it's gonna really drop off with this remote raid pass thing, because, like, if you do go through Twitter, or if you're in some discords and all that about people, or even YouTube videos, there's gonna be a lot of people that are just gonna be done with the game, because, like, see, like, right here's one. He made a video, if y'all want to go watch it. It's Pokey AK. That's just like with the Lord Up podcast. That's how I seen this to begin with. Is the Lord Up podcast was just like, look at this. They even have the thing. It's just like, it's time to start raiding outside again. But I think this is where I'm gonna call it. It kind of went over a little bit longer than what I expected. Uh, I personally think they'll close the game in 3 to 5 years. So this is the first thing in preparation. Yeah, I, I don't know if I would give it 5 years. I'd say within the next 2 to 3, maybe 4. But even 4 to me is kind of pushing it. Like, for the game being around Like I'd say I'd say by 2023, or not 2023, it is 2023. By like 2024, no, about 2025, 2026, the game will probably be at its lowest point. But I mean, it could possibly go for another 3 to 5 years. But with the way that they're running it, I don't see 5 years. Like I don't see Niantic making it to their 10 year, like their 10 years of being a game thing, like where they did the 5 years last year, was it, or was it 2021 that they did their 5 years? No, it was 2022, I think. Oh, wait, 2016 to 2020 before. No, so 2021 they did their 5 years. Did they? Because 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Yeah. So yeah, 2021 was where they did their 5 years. So yeah, I don't see them hitting their 10 year mark, because this will be 7 years of the game being out here coming this summer. Here in like what, like 2 months, 3 months, March, June, March, like 2ish, 3ish months. It'll be their 7th year. But yeah, I don't know how, like I don't know where, like where the game's gonna end up. But hopefully something gets decided out to where people are a little less frustrated with them. I don't see that happening because with how Niantic has been, it's been a pretty good roller coaster. That's about like what I know with the company. 1 minute they're doing good, just to drop way off, and then it's like they go up a bit and they drop right back off. But this is where I'm gonna call it. Hopefully, or whatever. If you do still play the game, hopefully, like from here forward, hopefully you still can enjoy the game. Hopefully you can still find some sort of entertainment in it. May not be with raids. It may not be with remotes and all that. But hopefully you guys can still find like some sort of way to have fun with it. Like I'm gonna be slowly leaving the game gradually until I see that I just can't have fun with the game anymore. Like I'll still play it here and there. Uh, it's gonna, like any content that I do come out with for it, it's all gonna be just all legit stuff. Maybe if I can figure some things out, I'll come back with the spoofing stuff and all that. But from here forward, I guess it's just in Niantic's court to decide how they're gonna take the game forward, because they obviously don't care about their player base, and it's really, really showing. But hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day. Hopefully this doesn't ruin like the rest of your week and everything. And hopefully some things can change and some things can get better for everyone. If not, we'll just have to just adapt to how they want the game to go, or Moot could just completely move on from it. But this is where I'm gonna call it. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.